Genesis 6, a chapter that sets the stage for one of the most famous stories in the Bible, Noah and the Great Flood. This chapter is not just about a world-engulfing flood, but about the state of humanity, the heart of God, and the beginning of a journey that changes the course of human history. As we open Genesis 6, the world is no longer the perfect creation it once was. People have multiplied, and with them, so has wickedness. The chapter paints a picture of a world in moral decay. Violence and corruption have spread widely. The goodness that once defined creation is now overshadowed by human sin. A peculiar and often debated part of this chapter is the union of the sons of God and the daughters of men. This mysterious passage has been interpreted in various ways, some seeing these sons of God as angels, others as descendants of Seth. Regardless of the interpretation, this union results in the Nephilim, figures of renown in ancient times, adding to the sense of a world diverging from its intended path. In the midst of this moral chaos, we see a different side of God. It is said that God is grieved in his heart. This is profound. It shows God's deep sorrow over the state of his creation. It's a sorrow born of love, not just anger. The chapter tells us that God decides to wipe out humanity, yet this decision is not made lightly. It is a response to deep corruption, a necessary step to reset the course of human history. But there is a ray of hope in this dark picture, Noah. Noah is described as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. In a world gone astray, Noah stands out as a beacon of righteousness and obedience. His character is crucial, for it is through Noah that God decides to enact his plan of saving creation. God reveals to Noah his plan to flood the world, destroying every creature. But God also provides a way of salvation, an ark. This ark, a massive boat, is to be built following specific dimensions and design as instructed by God. Noah is to bring into the ark his family and pairs of every kind of living creature, ensuring the preservation of life. In this plan, we see a mix of judgment and grace. The flood represents judgment on a corrupt world, but the ark symbolizes God's grace and mercy, offering a way to save Noah, his family, and the animal kingdom. Noah's response to this divine plan is immediate obedience. Imagine the enormity of this task, building an ark in a time without modern technology, gathering all kinds of animals, and facing what must have been skepticism and ridicule from those around him. Yet, Noah's faith and trust in God are unwavering. He does everything just as God commands him. As Genesis 6 concludes, the stage is set for one of the greatest events in biblical history. We are left anticipating the coming flood, but also understanding the reasons behind it. It's a story that challenges us to reflect on our own lives, our relationship with God, and the consequences of our actions. Thank you for joining me in exploring Genesis 6. This chapter sets in motion a story of judgment and redemption, a narrative that holds deep lessons about faith, obedience, and God's relationship with His creation. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll witness the unfolding of the Great Flood and the continuation of Noah's story.